How much do you, the parents of children with mental illness, suffer? Today, I want to recognize you.
Howdy, I'm therapist Andy Hogan. Thanks for joining in as we recognize how to feel peace, emerge from lonely isolation, become authentic in learning to control our emotions, and heighten our lives with love. This is what Reach Andy Hogan is all about. It's great to have you along.
Hello. Welcome to Reach Andy Hogan. That's me. I'm therapist Andy Hogan. Today I rode my bike to this part of the mountain because I want to share something special with you. This spot overlooks my parents' home. That home. This valley. And these mountains are where I grew up. I have so many memories of growing up with my parents here. Many memories growing up here are happy. Like the time my dad and I rode horses up this side of the mountain, all the way to the top. The view looking down the other side of the mountain was amazing. Some of my memories growing up here are painful because as a young person, my unrecognized mental illness caused some strain, some conflict with my parents. Gave them a lot of heartache. Down here is my old high school. As a youngster, a high school student, when I had depression, I didn't know it was depression. I used to escape by skipping class, going and playing basketball in a gym that was not being used at the time. I remember arguing with my parents about not doing as well as I should in school and getting poor grades.
Looking down from the mountain, you can see the church house where I used to go. One of the ways I used to try and escape the pain of depression and anxiety was to listen to music.
I want to purchase a stairway to heaven.
This is the gym where I used to bring my boombox and blast Led Zeppelin and other inappropriate music for a church house while I shot hoop with my buddies. I caused a lot of pain to my parents by insisting on doing this.
As a young teenager, I didn't know that skipping class, blasting music in a church, and yes, growing out the old rebel mullet, were all ways I was just trying to escape depression. All I knew was that I hated it when my parents told me I couldn't do those things or I shouldn't do those things, and I just wanted to get away from them.
There's a lot of burning smoke inside me. On the outside I'm high and low. I could soar if I could find somebody to show me how to take control. Wanna fly.
Are you a parent who argues or has conflicts with your kids about their hair, what they wear, their grades, their music, their phone, their gaming? Here's an important question you probably ask yourself. Are these behaviors of my child efforts to escape from the pain of mental illness? If you recognize mental illness in your child, a really tough question you face is, how much am I willing to suffer in order to keep this relationship close?
Control of self is
you have a child with mental illness, you know what it feels like to give, to sacrifice, and give some more without ever a thank you or even an acknowledgement of your suffering and how much you are sacrificing for that child.
I wanna fly. I wanna fly. I wanna fly.
As a parent of children with mental illness, you know what it's like to get those phone calls from schools, from the police sometimes, or as in my case, a mission president who called my parents from Montana and said, "Your son had some kind of a mental breakdown. He's been tranquilized and is in a small room being held in a hospital in Bozeman, Montana."
When I awoke, I found myself locked inside a small holding room for the mentally ill. There was a small toilet in the corner, a surveillance camera in the ceiling, and a thin mat on the floor where I had been sleeping. The door had no handle on the inside, just a small window with thick glass. I peered through the window and saw my parents in the waiting room outside the door. They had driven 8 hours to be there when I awoke. Seeing me look through the window, they rushed through the door and hugged me as if I had come back from the dead. Although the psychosis had passed, the doctor would not allow me to leave until the next morning. My dad immediately decided to stay with me in the cell-like holding room. We spent a torturous night together lying on the cold floor, sharing the pillow, and trying to sleep. The next day, Mother and Dad took me to a residential behavioral medicine center. As Dad filled out the intake forms, Mother asked the nurse, "What will Andy be doing here?" The nurse replied, "He has to be up early for individual and group counseling, classes, journal writing, activities, and much more." I felt that I was the sick one with no choice of being checked into that place. I was scared to death that I could not do all of those things, and feared if they forced me to, I would probably just end up reliving the horror of being tranquilized and locked up. I did not say one word, but my loving mother took one look at the terror in my eyes, tore up the entry forms Dad was filling out, and said to him, "Andy does not need this. Let's go home." Through my life, until that point, denial of my mental illness meant, instead of looking inward for the source of my pain, I blamed my parents and froze my heart with the belief that their love was selfish control. It was not until Dad spent the night locked up with me, and Mother chose to take me home instead of just dropping me off at another hospital, that their love melted the ice of my bipolar heart and allowed me to see, admit, and start getting help for the mental illness inside. With time, patience, the warmth of my parents' love proved to be stronger than my chronic mental illness.
I had to hit rock bottom before I finally started to appreciate my parents. I put them through a lot of suffering before I recognized my own mental illness and the pain it was causing our relationship. Here's a toast to all the parents of children with mental illness. Thank you for loving us. Thank you for never giving up on us. To you.